Just don't go to law school and be like, I want to be a lawyer. Okay? What kind of lawyer do you want to be? You know, why do you want to be a lawyer? It's too difficult of a process as far as mentally, and too expensive of a process with regard to the money, and too time consuming with regard to obviously the time for you not to have a plan if you want to go to law school. So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. My name is Annette. Thank you for joining the family. If you're not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I release videos once or twice a week and I cover a wide variety of topics. Sometimes I talk about lifestyle, sometimes I do vlogs, sometimes I just sit down and talk about career and work and workplace issues, and today is going to be one of those topics. So I released a video not too long ago, maybe about 6 to 7 months ago, basically covering my life, the life of a lawyer, the life of a stylish New York attorney, and I received a lot of feedback regarding that video, a lot of questions about what to do before you go to law school and how you can juggle law school and mentorship and all that. So I figured I'll come back and talk to you one-on-one about issues with regard to the career of an attorney. So now we're going to take a step back. Before you decide to go to law school, there are a couple of things you need to know. And in this video, I will be sharing with you the things you need to know, the things you need to do before you can go to law school, how you can lay the foundations of being a successful lawyer. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing that I advise you to do is to clean up your credit. There's nothing more devastating than you taking the LSAT, you gracing the LSAT because you're a scholar and you're smart, but then you can't get student loans because your credit isn't clean. And of course, it's virtually impossible to get anyone who's going to co-sign for you apart from your family. And even that family may not always be willing to co-sign for you because they have issues, they have their own debt, and they have mortgages and student loans, blah, blah, blah. If I could go back in time, I wish the number one thing someone could tell me was, Annette, you need to clean up your credit. Now, don't get me wrong, I did not have bad credit, but it wasn't exactly good either because I didn't have a lot of credit. I had my car note on my credit, and then I had like 1 or 2 credit cards, either from a store or another credit card. And this was in the pre-Obama era where credit card companies could just increase your limit without you asking and then slap you with interest fees and increment fees and all that. And if you are a college student working 2 jobs like I was at that time, you're not going to pay attention to a lot of those details until it hits you. And that's precisely what happened to me. At that point, when I was trying to go to law school, I then reached out to a lot of people to help co-sign because my credit was not strong enough. And honestly, it was a miracle. It was a miracle because the person who eventually helped me was someone I've never... It was a miracle. That's a whole different story. That's an entirely different story. So what I'll tell you to do is be sure to clean up your credit. Pull your credit report from any of the credit reporting agencies and try to get a free credit score from Quizzle, My Credit Journey, blah blah blah. There's so many of them. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just telling you what I did. And once you get that credit report, try to figure out things you can pay off. In the interim, while you're also doing that, refrain from doing anything that would affect your credit. Refrain from applying to get 20% off at Macy's just to check your credit or to run your credit to see if you can get a card. Refrain from doing that at Victoria's Secret or other department stores as well. That way you can maintain your credit and just be in good standing and not have to worry about damaging your credit or things not working out how they're supposed to with regard to your credit. So first thing you should do, clean up your credit. That way you can get better rates for your student loan. Second thing is have a plan and work the plan. Figure out why you want to go to law school. For me, it was very clear. From when I was a child, I knew that I wanted to be an attorney simply because my skill set geared me in that direction. I come from a family of doctors and I'm getting married to one, and I understand medicine. I understood biology very well, but on the math side and chemistry side, things were not just adding up. I can do math for discounts, I can do math for statistics, but as far as math needed for physics and chemistry, it just wasn't my strong suit. Not that I'm bad at it, but I was so much better in English, in literature, in politics, in government, in Christian religious studies, in economics, in topics that pushed me towards legal education. And then when I went to college, I knew that I wanted to be an attorney. I had a period of time where I wasn't quite sure what kind of law I want to practice, and thankfully with my undergraduate degree in criminal justice, I decided to get a minor in business management. In doing that, it opened up the entire world of human resources to me, and I decided to work as an HR specialist after graduating undergrad. While I was there, I met with a lot of in-house counsels practicing employment law. At that point, I decided this is the kind of law I want to do. If at all I do want to go to law school and I want to, take the $300,000 plus in debt with regard to law school, then it has to be something that I'm interested in. So I went in with a desire to practice employment law. I took employment law related classes. I stuck through it all. A lot of people went to law school thinking they want to do immigration or, international law, and they come out of law school and the first thing they do is securities, or they start working in insurance defense, and they're just boxed into a profession that they don't necessarily like, or they changed halfway through. I didn't change. I'm still practicing employment law 6 years later. So it's something that you have to be very pointed about. Work the plan. Seek out internships in that area before entering law school. So if you want to be an immigration attorney, for example, try to find internships within that field before you go to law school. Try to attend networking events with people who have a passion for immigration law, for example, intellectual property or patent law, things like that. Follow through. But the most important thing is have a plan. Just don't go to law school and be like, I want to be a lawyer. Okay? What kind of lawyer do you want to be? Why do you want to be a lawyer? It's too difficult of a process as far as mentally, and too expensive of a process with regard to the money, and too time consuming with regard to obviously the time for you not to have a plan if you want to go to law school. So be sure to have a plan and then work the plan. So in line with that, the next thing I'll tell you to do is save money and travel the world, because the next 3 years of your life are going to be miserable. At least for the most part. If you are slated to start law school in August, I would advise you to travel May, June, July, see the world. If you're working during that time, I advise you to save as much money as you can, because you're going to be dependent on student loans. And if you want to not owe almost $500,000 when you're done with student loans, at least if you're getting your education in the East Coast, then I advise you to, if you're working, try to put away as much money as you can. If for nothing, that would just handle your feeding. That way you're not taking into your tuition money for feeding, or you're not taking in money for your computer reimbursement for feeding and things like that. So be sure to travel, be sure to save, be sure to live your life, if you will. And this is something I wish someone told me, and I probably wouldn't do it, but still, I just wish I had the opportunity to. If you want to dye your hair like pink for summer, or if you want to dye your hair bright bleach blonde for summer, go ahead and do that before you go to law school. Because once you get to law school, you're looking for an internship, or you're trying to work, you're not going to be perceived in the best light if you walk into a courtroom with beach blonde hair or bright pink hair. And that's going to affect your perception of you. That's going to make you have to work harder to dispel whatever stereotype they may have of your perception. It's just going to be too much. It's just going to be too much. So if you want to go crazy and do the crazy things, do that before law school. Save, travel the world, dye your hair pink, go through your rock star phase, do all that before law school. And then when you're done with law school and you're established and either you're a partner, you're an in-house, or you've created a career for yourself in a way that fits you, because obviously no one's careers are not linear. The fact that you go to law school doesn't mean you have to be a lawyer for the rest of your life. You can work your way through and just use those skill sets to do whatever it is you want to do that makes you happy. When you get to that point, then you can go back and dye your hair pink and purple. But part of the process demands that you refrain from doing that, at least while you're in law school. So be sure to save money, travel the world, and go crazy. The fourth thing I'll tell you today is to build resilience. Resiliency is a muscle. It's a muscle that you have to use a lot of time before you can develop its strength. What do I mean? If you get a minor setback in life before you go to law school, use that as an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to build yourself, to figure out how you can move on, because there are going to be many scenarios in law school where you are going to need to be resilient. Your grades may not be the best in your first couple of years. You may not understand the process that's required of you, the type of learning that's required of you, or even the grading process, and you may fall back. You may not get the internship you want. You may not have the best relationship with your professor. You may not have friends. You may not get the student loans you want. You may not be part of the work-study program that you want. A lot of things are going to happen that may try to break you. Heck, you may not even pass the bar the first time. Thankfully, I passed the bar the first time, but that's because I honed everything in and I told myself this is what I am going to do. I am going to pass this bar if it means me not eating out, if it means me not having an entire summer, so that I don't have to worry about doing this again. But some people I know did that very thing and they didn't pass the bar the first time. or the second time, and finally in the third time or fourth time, they eventually passed it. Do you think they did that without resiliency? No. You have to build your resiliency, because that would also carry when you start working at a firm. Because honey, your work is going to get torn up. It's going to get torn apart. I'm a 6-year associate, and if you see when I turn in stuff for the partners right now, you always cry for me, just because they still tear your work down, because they are trying to mold you into what they want you to be, or just want you to write how they want to write. And you know, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. I still have to build my resiliency every day. Some days I come home and I just sit down and I cry. Other days I come home and I'm like, man, F this. I don't care much about this, blah, blah, blah. Other days I come home and I'm feeling great. So it's a combination of many things. It's a profession that is not for everyone. And if you've chosen to take this path, and you've chosen to go this direction, one of the skills you're going to need to build is your resiliency. Try to find, self-help books. Try to find outlets to help you. If it's yoga, if it's exercise, there's a reason why a lot of lawyers are alcoholics and suicidal. There's a reason why some people develop, anxiety disorders after law school, during law school. So you have to build yourself. You have to grow thick skin. You have to toughen up. And the last thing I'll tell you to do today is you have to trust the process. It's always one thing, right? Apply for the LSAT, you take the LSAT, you pass the LSAT, or you fail the LSAT, and then you do it all over again. And you apply for law school, and then you get rejected, or you get admitted, but then you have to pay student loans, and then you start classes, and you don't know what you're doing, and you try to figure out, oh my God, what am I doing? And then it's midterm. You get a midterm, you don't like your score, oh my God, it's about to be finals, what am I gonna do? Everybody's stressing out, no one's telling you what to. It is all a process, and then that will happen for your first semester, second semester, second year, third year. They say second year and third year is easier. I don't know that it's easier. You just know what to do, and you just have to do it. Unlike in your first year, you don't know what to do, so you're kind of like figuring it out. So trust the process. After that, you have to study for the bar exam. You study for the bar exam. There's this weird period of time after taking the bar exam where you don't know if you passed or failed, but you have to work and you have to figure out what you're doing, and then you start working, and then you start working and you start figuring out who you are as an attorney, what things you can internalize and what things you cannot. All that is part of the process. Trust the process. If this is a path you've designed to take, if this is a path you want to excel in, you just have to trust the process. Trust that you put it in your best, you're giving in your best, and by virtue of that, nothing but positivity, great outcomes, and excellence will be your portion. So by virtue of that, you just have to trust. Trust that one step will take you closer to the next step, to the next step, to the next step, and you just keep on going. If you have that mentality, not only would you excel, you'll be able to deal with whatever obstacles will come your way, and you end up being a bright and shining star. Those are my tips to help you build a foundation to be a successful attorney. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching my video today. I hope you find this helpful on some level, and come back for more. Let me know if you want me to do more law school related video, legal career related videos as well, and I'll be sure to do that. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is itsAnnetteA, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.